Hello YouTube, vintage stereo collectors and receivers. This is sort of my shootout receiver review. I don't do many reviews, it's more about how to restore them, because the way they sound and which unit you like the best and which music you like the best is sort of personal taste. But I wanted to do this because I'm starting out here with this is a receiver. These basically the two receivers I want to do are under $100, and this one is the BFW, made by Electrohome in Kitchener, early 70s, and I've been listening to it in my main system for a while. And here's the good points: excellent tuner, blue black lid with a red pointer, looks great in the evening when the lights are low and you're just relaxing, but it has a really good tuner. It picks up any of the stations I want and in stereo. I'm not going to go through the stations for copyright reasons. I found some non-copyright for YouTube video music, which I'm going to play through this. Just coming through the auxiliary input. One thing I like about this, it seems to be, although it's low wattage, about 20 watts per channel, it doesn't struggle with anything, especially bass. It has a clean, tight sound. And it's easy to figure out how to use. You know, you just basically, if you want FM, you punch FM. I like these push down keys. Mono, CONT is loudness. It's very basic. It's actually quite big, and that's a bit of a downside. I couldn't put the turntable I wanted here, so I put a compact turntable, a dual CS16 cased turntable. Sound wise, this is one of the best low dollar receivers I've listened to in a long time. I'm playing it through a set of PSB Image B2 speakers. I'm just going to show you here. So a monitor style shielded speaker, made in Waterloo, Ontario, and 89 decibel per watt sensitivity. Very neutral sound. Good living room speaker. The bass and the whole soundstage on this amp is really nice. It almost has a, I don't know if ethereal's the right word. I was listening to some Charles Mingus, I believe it was, jazz, and the hi-hat. And the hi-hat, the bass, this is, you know, jazz trio. You could place the instruments and everything, there was such silence between the instruments. And it was off a CD, but this really brings jazz type of recordings out. And you know, it can run for hours and hours. There's no ventilation on the top, so you can put other things on it. Like I put a few test units. I'm going to put the next receiver on top of it. It's a very strong cabinet. It's like thick like that. Weighs about 30 pounds. This is as good as some midline Japanese receivers of the same era. Maybe like that, or you know, you had Yamahas and Sensuis and Kenwoods that were 20, 30 watt per channel receivers. Like that whole Kenwood, it looks a lot like a Kenwood actually, you know, that 2120, 3130 series, that one. And it's as good as or better. Okay, so I brought down the Realistic ST-847, which I just finished yesterday. Both of these have been recapped. Both of them had really no issues to begin with. They could have gone on in life without being recapped, but I think they're the better for it. They're both different. I'm going to put it. I mean, this was made in Japan, this was made in Canada, but there are some similarities and some differences. Both have awesome tuners. This has some more cost cutting in it, I would say. Oh, we just gotta turn on the speakers. There we go. But it has a good tune. I don't even have an antenna on it. There's that much wire inside the unit. But just like this unit here, it pulls in lots of stations in stereo and locks onto them. It doesn't drift. Typical of early 70s to mid 70s tuners. It has one integrated circuit. They both have the same integrated circuit. I think it's a 3100. Let me see, this one's a bit smaller. It has a few circuit advancements. It's actually a dual rail power supply, plus and minus, and there is no capacitors in the output. It's direct coupled. It has very low residual voltage, both channels below 10 millivolts. It's about 12 watts per channel. It's a little less power. But let's see how it works. We just got to go over here. Now, I've listened to the phone extensively in this one. Excellent phone. This one I haven't tried. So this is just some non-copyrighted, easygoing music. It actually has very similar knobs. They both have these rubberized grips. Bass, treble, balance, volume, just like this one. This one actually has 3 sets of speaker outputs. Loudness, tape monitor, mono, just like this one. The one thing I have to say, this has a little more sparkle in the highs, just off the bat. And it sounds just as grunty as this one. Good bass. Just a nice sounding receiver. Actually, when you consider this is low end, kind of, it was, you know, as you went into the Radio Shack catalog, you got to the lower end units. This is one of them, but it is well made, and it does, you know what? It's another under $100 receiver that really performs, and you could actually sit here and have quite a bit of enjoyment listening to it. And it has enough to fill your room with sound, no doubt. Yeah, it has sort of a different, the mid-range and highs are just a little bit more eccentric in this one. I'm actually surprised. I would think with the capacitor coupled single rail you'd have a little more colorization, but no, this one has, I don't know, just a little more sparkly sound to it. Now whether that wears well after listening to it for a whole afternoon, I don't know. And it's going to be interesting. I have the feeling, I tested it upstairs with a photo input and I thought it was pretty good. But you really don't know until you get it into an area where you can compare. That's what I like about this. I can switch back and forth. Sometimes I'll listen to a couple songs this on one then on the other, just to get a comparison. But I'm just going to leave it at that so the video doesn't get too long. Last thing I'm going to say is I do like the blue numbers on this one. I like the blue. I don't like the yellow as much. Anyway, thanks for watching and listening.